XRP XLM QNT holders must watch this. This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name is Neil, where we keep technical analysis short and sweet, always starting with Bitcoin. Here we are at the all-time high of nearly $122,000. When we can close above this previous high, we can expect for crypto to start moving upwards and moving straight into Tornado Cash. Tornado Cash, if you guys have not entered, I keep repeating myself because I don't know how else to express it. I have a reference link in the description below for MEXC. Greatly appreciate it if you use it. If you can't use MEXC, definitely use a VPN and you can still create an account, but you can trade Tornado Cash on MEXC and they have the lowest trading fees of any platform I've seen. But we see that we have this yellow upward trend line, which it is clearly holding support over and testing off the 200 EMA, these major wick-offs, meaning a bunch of people are selling, trying to get it below there, and a bunch of people are buying more than selling, pushing it right back up towards this black trend line, which is the previous trend line that we were trying to hold above. This essentially right here is a bullish engulfing where we had that push up. We had the push down and we completely covered the previous day whenever it pushed down, and if we close above that, consider it a bullish engulfing. When we zoom in a little bit into the 4 hour, we can see that it's looking a little bit better. It's wicking off and on the bottom and holding above the 200 EMA, and we can assume that this is going to start pushing back up towards this down or upward trend line. This is kind of the range we are looking at for the next potential move. I said previously, when we get over $11, we are going to have a push. We see that we got over $11. We pushed all the way up to roughly $14 more or less before testing again through the 200 EMA and then now holding it as support. Very, very good crypto to be investing in. None of this is financial advice on any of my videos, but if you can and if you want to, definitely stack some more Tornado Cash before this thing takes off, as the all-time high, as I repeat myself, is $459 for $11 investment. Getting in right above this $11 line is kind of what we are looking at to get into an entry on something like this, but this is one of the healthiest coins I've seen in the market, so I keep recommending Tornado Cash. Moving on over to QNT. QNT is also looking very nice. We are getting a little bit of rejection here, getting some wick-offs towards the top, but we are still above that 200 EMA. I know this is a little bit confusing with all this stuff in here. We got the Fibonacci going down, we got the Fibonacci up, so the potential retracement 618 is all the way down here, which we hit perfectly back in June 21st, 22nd area. So now that this is considered support, broke over the downward trend line, built this new upward trend line, which we held as support. We don't really need this Fibonacci in here anymore, so we can make it a little bit cleaner. But essentially what I am looking at is for this to consolidate nice and slowly up towards this black trend line, which is around 119, before we ultimately break this downward trend line, which we had rejection here, we had rejection here, and we may get a little rejection here as well, which is the 618 at around 124, testing this black trend line here at 119 once yet again, and then ultimately creeping up over, pushing up, potentially testing this area, and then taking off for QNT. Definitely it's a long-term play for QNT, but it's definitely looking very nice and healthy. I don't think that this is going to be pushing below this 200 EMA again. It is possible, but I highly doubt that we are going to be pushing way below this and down to $83. The RSI is looking very healthy. We are trying to test this yellow line as support before pushing upwards. So definitely more of a swing trade on QNT. And I always recommend not having all your eggs in one basket and diversify your portfolio. So while this is in consolidation, you can start putting your money in other cryptocurrencies, which we will go over here very soon. Overall, we just needed to see QNT break this downward trend line, and then ultimately we have a potential 40% push upwards towards 163 to 171. When it gets there, we may get a little bit of rejection and test this area at 150 before ultimately taking off towards the 260, which is the Fibonacci retracement is around $280. So QNT is definitely more of a long-term play, but you can see the volume is picking up a lot. The RSI is looking very healthy on the daily, and when we zoom into the 4-hour, we can see that it's trying to hold above that 200 EMA with its consolidation before ultimately pushing up towards 124. Trying to make this video a little bit shorter, moving into XRP. Apparently this push back here on August 7th is when $50 million flooded into XRP. Obviously you get your consolidation, filling out this inverse head and shoulders, and we are getting closer and closer to these two orange lines right here that you can see, which is when some important news is going to be coming out. Anywhere in between this area from August 13th to August 21st, we're most likely going to start seeing XRP push up. I constantly remind and recommend to dollar cost average. If you keep taking your profits and putting it into XRP, it's going to be a win for you. It's definitely a long-term play like QNT, but it is very reliable for the future. So again, over and over again, take your profits that you're getting in your other coins, put it in XRP. It may move a little bit slower, but we are going to get a massive pump when this thing takes off. As the longer it consolidates, the more potential we have to start pushing upwards. Not a whole bunch more to say about XRP, except it looks very, very healthy. And we are pushing back up towards a very important all-time high, which last time we got there, we had that rejection. But once we test and close above this area around 350, the sky is the limit. But I think 450 and 550 potentially is the next move before pullback and continuation. Moving into XLM. XLM is looking very healthy as well. Very similar pattern to XRP, where it had that high, it had that rejection, downward bull flag, obviously. And I was saying once we touch here, we are most likely going to test this downward trend line, which we did. Got that rejection, broke through it immensely, and then are doing a little bit of consolidation within this area. You can consider this a potential inverse head and shoulders here, but this right shoulder may not be a far retracement. It may have a little bit of consolidation before ultimately pushing up towards the 50-cent mark. But if you are stacking your XRP, you should be stacking some XLM as well. I know I haven't been. I've been stacking a lot more XRP than XLM, but XLM is definitely a good potential. It's got a very good use case. Some people say the all-time high can be $50 for its utility. I think that may happen whenever XRP starts taking off immensely. But as for XLM, it is looking very healthy. If you were to enter in anywhere at this point, you're most likely not going to lose any of your money. Obviously, it'll potentially drop down and test this downward trend line and this upward trend line, but that's not a very big loss, as if you do not sell, it's going to start pushing back up towards the first major resistance being 63 cents. And this is typically what we see whenever we are looking at a cup and handle pattern. We see a major push up, the downward bull flag, consolidation, and then another major push up, and then yet again the bull flag, and then a push up, breaking this area, and then taking off to an all-time high. And we see that the RSI, back whenever we pushed up out of the RSI, we had that major pump. And so if we get up towards this area around the 70% on the RSI, we can start seeing another major pump towards that 63 cent area. But definitely not a bad time to enter. Definitely just keep an eye on it. None of this is financial advice, so keep an eye when you start seeing this push up a little bit and close a little bit higher, maybe potentially around 46 cents would not be a bad entry for XLM. I'm doing GRT, BNT, and DNT on this as well, and my prediction was almost pretty much perfect from the time I was saying you should enter BNT. Obviously, we entered right here at 36 cents if you're in my trading signal channel. So you are not sweating at all on BNT, and we have that continuation, breaking the downward trend line, closing higher. We get a little bit of rejection. I said we were going to push up to the dotted red line, which is exactly where we are at for the past 2 days. And so we just need to see this as support, potentially this downward trend line as support, and then a potential move upward, also a 40% potential up to around $1.03 more or less. But BNT, definitely now is not a bad time to enter. It's filling out the inverse head and shoulders, as we see with these green triangles, which was expected. And now it's just a waiting game for BNT to pop off. But it does have a very nice all-time high. As we see, it is above $10, which is actually at here at $20. So for 80 cents turning into $20, you can go to your 9 to 5, but I can guarantee you if you say you want to transfer your 80 cents to $20, they're not going to do it. So definitely investing is the way to make your money work for you, where you don't have to work again. But BNT is definitely one of my go-tos for some major potential. It's nearly more than 20x if you were to enter in BNT at this point and hold for that all-time high. Constantly recommend BNT and Tornado Cash as well. DNT is looking a little bit better. We are doing the consolidation, trying to break above that 200 EMA. Once we get over that 200 EMA, we are most likely going to see a major push up, and the next stop is around 100% increase. Last time my prediction was right here, and we blew way past that. So I expect DNT to do something similar. I have diversified portfolios, so I'm just kind of waiting out on this one. It is a long consolidation. We had our entry when we broke over this downward black trend line, and we are still in profit, just waiting to get over that 200 EMA. And then GRT for the last one for this video is looking phenomenal. Inverse head and shoulders playing out very, very nicely. We want to see some slow consolidation to get up over that 200 EMA and close over this point, which is around 11 cents. But GRT, as well as the other ones I have shown, have a very long way to go to get to the top, around $3.50 from not even a 10-cent investment. Right now is probably one of the best opportunities to enter for GRT. Throw $1 at it, throw 100 at it, see what happens. Not financial advice in any way, but on my next video, you will see that GRT is most likely going to be above 0.996 cents. So with all that in mind, good luck, have fun with it. Check out the description for reference links. Grass is doing airdrop free money on the 28th of this month. So then I will bring back grass and kind of show you that you can take your grass that is earned and earn 38% APY or APR on it, which is astronomical gains. Just holding free money that is airdropped to you and earning 38% on it is not bad at all. It's not even an investment, it's just free. But good luck, have fun with it. I will see you guys on the next one.